Hello and welcome back to my playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV within the Final Fantasy Marathon, and in this episode I will be continuing the Shiva and Ivy Questlines. Now we're going to be starting back at trying to find who the spy the Ivy is, and then I'm going to assume that we'll cross back over towards the Ice Heart questline where she tries to summon Shiva. So without further ado, let's get into it. Captain Ilberd, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say that the man could tell us naught that we did not already know of Shiva. We have since handed them over to the Ishgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, Jesus, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquired their information on the shipment routes. Go on. You will recall the flame we first identified as being in the Ivy's employ. From him we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to the abrupt end. Fearing that the investigation had been compromised, we took the necessary step of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There were 5 on our list, including a flame stationed at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory of donations from abroad, the particulars of which he would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of the shipments bound for the settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Fortom. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think I can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved at least, but of the Ivy, are we any closer to prizing off his mask? I dare say we are, Commander. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In a desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider then that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say that the agent is among Rubon's innermost circle? Someone has been with him since the Immortal Flame's establishment? 'Tis the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. To slip into position of authority unremarked, and remain above suspicion all these years. I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the 3 grand companies, Uldar's was ever the more vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limsa Lominsa and Gridania had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder. To all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, mind, under the same leadership, only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. Uldar's military was made up of disparate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Rawbarn faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained the small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, that meant recruiting every passing sellsword. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. Bloody hell. A good deal easier than now, aye. The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. Though the monetarists ultimately agreed to support the organisation's founding, it was not out of charity that they did so, but simple self-preservation. Had Nell Van Darnus's ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would have never have risked supplied Rawbarn with an army. 'Tis but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present, even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. I expect to hear from them ere long. Very good. Pray continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest, and third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in like manner to the other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Aymeric informing him of our success in identifying the heretics' abattoirs. Hopefully the information will be of some use to the Ishgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As Commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Aramir. As the realm's stoutest champion, 'tis only meet that you'll be present for the discussion. Oh, and the antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. That was a big, bloody cutscene. Like me, you are doubtless eager to conclude our business with Iceheart, but until another path to her sanctum is found, she will remain beyond our reach. Minfilia and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternate route. Until such time as they succeed, I suggest we give some thought to the realm's other problems. I shall go on ahead to Gridania in readiness for the coming council. Meet me at Nothuka's altar. We shall make our way to the Lotus Stand together. Right, return to Gridania. I need to wipe my glasses. One of the frames are a bit dirty. Might do it during the cutscene because I'm going to assume this will actually have dialogue, or spoken dialogue, sorry. I wonder how, I wonder why. My thanks for coming, Aramir. When you are ready, speak with the conjurer yonder. She will show us the Lotus Stand. The Alliance leaders await you in the Lotus Stand. Will you be joining them now? Yep. Here we go.
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumours are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Looks very, Oh wow.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Galvus is a respected military leader. Not so his uncle.
Oh.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Very classical villainous armour. Which you'd expect.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
Well. Jesus. It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorzea are no nearer to being of one purpose, despite the protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Garlemald is not enough to stir them, and the reason for this deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all the understandings they like, but their unity means little unless to the common folk. Take the Leminsons, for instance. Though Admiral Melwib outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still pictured a nation as a haven for grog-swilling, wooden-legged cutthroats. And likewise, the Gardanians are mocked as hermits who talk to trees, and the Uldan scorned as swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that pillar of Uldan society, Telegiad Legi, for example. But that is beside the point. The fact is that people are wary of outsiders, whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that the conflict at Cartanu is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present them something resembling warfare, and thereby curb their appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing, let us speak of a more pressing matter, the Ivy. Since we spoke at the observatorium, Captain Ilberg has further shortened his list of suspects. And by happy coincidence, the one he deems the most likely candidate is lately come to Gridania. The hunt nears its end, Aramir. All that remains is to corner our quarry, seek out Ilberg near the Adder's Nest. He'll give you the particulars. Here we go. Here we go. Ba 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 bitty ba bi ba bibbidi bibby ba bibbidi ba bibbidi ba bibbidi ba ba boo bibbidi bibby ba bibbidi boo. Look the way, I like the way the axe spins. Beautiful. Anyway. My thanks for coming, Zion. Doubtless the commander has informed you we would have unmasked the Ivy. From this point on we must proceed with extreme caution. Listen well, the spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than the Flame Marshal Aline Rowell, Royalbarn's second in command. Prior to joining the Immortal Flames, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm had to be seen to be believed. Of Ishgardian birth, she is the highest ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flames, barring the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Royalbarn chose people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was no of interest. The monetarists saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret that they did not favour foreigners, Ishgardians especially, after the way the Holy See forsook the alliance. Yet the monetarists did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when Rowell was appointed to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy has some hold over the monetarists? But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Rowell's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Royalbarn attended the Council of Alliance Leaders, she should have remained in the Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being in Gridania, yet here she is nonetheless. On some pretense, she is up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trawling the Flames' records for evidence of Rowell's guilt. If we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing and the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyes, Scion? You have my thanks. Let us go then and take care not to alert our quarry. Judgment bolts and lightning. Well, we know what this is going to be, don't we? We're going to do this first, of course. Some shit going on, but it's fine. Anyway, let's go to Rorena's representative. There we are. What is our item level? 128. Nearly there. So Rao has entered the Carline canopy, meeting someone perchance? Or could it be she means to board an airship? Pray look for her within. If she's not on the upper floor, try the landing area below. Right. Aramir Ironhearts, there's an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? A social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. I've noted every passenger. None bore any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. Nowhere to be seen, you say, and you are sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back out either. Where in the seven hells could she have gone? The roost, how could I forget? Greetings, good sir. Might I interest you in some Muntoy tonic? A cup a day imbues a man with great vigour, if you take my meaning. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait, that necklace, you are a Cenobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gridania by way of West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the East Shroud. Rest assured she shall continue to support you from the shadows. So I could attune to the Aephorite, get the Odin one ready, and then boom. There we are. Our hunt leads to the East Shroud, Scion. Does this we follow Rao's example? Yep. Let's go. Before we do that, we'll do this. Then we'll do Ramu. Then we have Leviathan and Ramu. Well, this will be Ramu Extreme. Will you get another Leviathan and Ramu one? Above Extreme? Maybe you still get third battles for each. But you get it as a thing. Because I can check quests, I believe. Or achievements, here we are. Quests. Not there. Right. Complete Alexander Gordius. Oh Jesus, you got Alexander, complete the Void Arc. Complete Alexander Midas. The Royal City of Rabanasta. Trials. Oh, here we go. Defeat Ramu at the Striking Tree. Extreme. Defeat Shiva at the XIV Amphitheatre. Extreme. And yeah, you've got all this. So it looks like you've only... So yeah, we have Shiva and Ramu Extreme, Leviathan Extreme, and that's it, yeah. Showing you all the missions of all the trial bosses could technically be spoilers, but it's fine. Don't need to read what you say really, but hey hey. Walking One is ready to defeat Bearded One, Most Hated One. Stuck round after his birthday, gave him a happy belated one. Completely forgot about the binding coil of Bahamut, but I never get into it, so you know. It is what it is. Are you coming here with me? Idiot. There we are. We're going to the pier. You really can go high, can't you? God, yeah. Bum bum. Could get into the Striking Tree while this cutscene's on, to be fair. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes for the Hawthorn Hut. If Royal is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. Well, our ingenious friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications, and we have installed them around the city-states. In so doing, we have made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Rael would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with her Imperial contact directly, yet, as a well-known face in Immortal Flames, she cannot move about Fanlon without being recognised. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. 'Tis for this reason I believe that she has chosen the Black Shroud for a clandestine meeting. This place is home to many of your kind, and the arrival of one more Alezim is not like to turn any heads. As my scouts tell it, the Garleans have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. We need only make for Hawthorne's hut and catch Rail in the act. So 1 healer, 1 DPS, and then we're into the strike in 3. Where they at though? Where they at though? Where they at though? What? My people report that our quarry has departed for the bramble patch. Of course. There we go. Just beyond, Rail is in conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer, an imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it, with me. Flame Marshal Lane Rail, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You were followed, you bloody fool. Damnation. These shinobis. You are unarmed, my lady, and scarcely garbed for battle, but if you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling in the 12's wood? When last I looked, that was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance, then? Very well. If you do not think of something to say, there will be plenty of time to say it later. Now, come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have naught to hide. Interesting. Even a warrior of Rao's renown could not have hoped to escape by force. Despite her claims, her surrender does not bespeak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is to be hoped that the tendrils she entwined around the immortal flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap then the people of Uldar will have the grand company they deserve. But let us speak of the present. If I may ask, what will you do now, Aramir? So the Scions seek a way into Iceheart's sanctum. Then I dare say you are eager to return to the Rising Stones. Pray do not let me keep you. Fear not, my countrymen and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. And speaking of talents, have you considered training in the art of the shinobi? You have the aptitude for it, I believe, so please give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. Right, we just need a healer, but I will try. The Rising Stones. But if that is the Ivy, sorted. We just have to focus on Iceheart and Shiva. There's nothing else to do, is there? No. And that requires the binding coil of Bahamut turn 4, right? Yeah. Da 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 da. Let's go. Welcome back, Aramir. I understand that Alpha No had a task for you. May I ask what it was? Charges of treason and espionage against Eileen Rao? I can scarce believe it. Could there have not been some manner of misunderstanding? No, it avails us naught to dwell on it. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust to the authorities to uncover it. Let us speak of another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find a way into Iceheart's sanctum. As you may recall, Iceheart used the Aetheryte in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west, most likely to a sanctuary of some description. It is there that we suspect she means to summon Shiva using the crystal she stole from the House for Tom caravan. The heretics believe that they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint, but if, as we suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice it to say, they must be stopped, and stop them we shall, but first we must surmount the obstacle that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetheryte to which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetheryte upon arrival, a reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter of length with Urianger, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution, which is why we have called upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise, a colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Charlayan. She should be arriving within the hour, in fact. Since you are here, Mahep, we would welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming. Bum bum biddy biddy bum 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 biddy biddy bum 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 biddy biddy bum bum bum. Do do do. Dun 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 dun. Just got to continue, and then of course once the party forms for Ramu, we can do it.
Minfilia, am I right?
Why do I feel like this is Iceheart
None other.
herself?
I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and to thank you for travelling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Charlian scholar, and an authority on Aetheryte technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Arcean souls.
Interesting.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Let us return to the Rising Stones at once then. We have much to discuss. A simple plan. Dun, 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 dun. Move. Why were you not moving? Here we are.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits, and nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it, then? Your missing aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate a second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have wide aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the Aetherite. However, wide aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risk the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
I've already informed Alphino of our plan to recreate the beacon in the manner Moonbreeder described. He agreed that despite the inherent danger, it represents our only hope of success. He also said that he wished to meet with you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you will find him waiting for you there when you arrive. Before we do that, I want to clear out some thingity bobbity boopity boppity beepity boppity bop. Let's go. That's not what I wanted, but it'll do, whatever. Yeah. Da da do do, da 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 do, da da do do da di da 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 da. Right. Very snowy, very foggy, very misty. We have to wait for another healer because they joined and immediately pulled out. Good to see you, Aramir. I was starting to wonder if you were having second thoughts. Captain Ilberd sends his regards, by the way. He attends to the interrogation of Elaine Rowell in Uldar even as we speak. But I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the ivory upon your return. I trust that, by which I mean to say, the others are waiting for us at the Aetheryte after you, Scion. There, it's ready. Ah, it worked, I think. Try tuning to the Aetheryte now. Feel for the current and try to locate the beacon. We have done all we can, Aramir. For now, let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If, by the grace of the 12, you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. We cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, she may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual, and if she succeeds, you will have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your own strength will suffice, and so I would encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Moonbrider's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Ah, before you assemble your party, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Amaric. Sir Amaric regrets that he could not be here in person, and asks that I read you to this letter. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat, yet in our hour of need it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her. Aramir Ironheart, the warrior of light, saviour of Eorzea, your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you choose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in service to a greater cause. May Haloni bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. Ak Afa Amphitheatre. And here we are. Dun 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 dun. Average item level 80. It is what it is. Yep, look at that, straight in.
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down.
I think this is the last summon battle of A Realm Reborn.
We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more.
Well, she's attuning herself to Shiva.
Still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Diamond dust. This is like a FF10 summoning, but she looks sick in 16 as well. Oh my god. Titan. 16, by the looks of it, has the potential to be one of the best Final Fantasy titles. Hello there. Oh, shit. Dun 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 dun. Painkiller, that's quite clever. Ice Soldier. Oh, these are the twats from FF5, but, well, they're a bit different. But, same principal. Hang on, I need to stick to Shiva. Come here. Dun 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 dun. Come here. Embrace the serenity, renounce the hatreds that consume you. Is this diamond dust? Kind of. And scatter them like dust to the wind. Yep, diamond dust. Phase 2. Piss off. Oh, yep, there's no one left. But yeah, that was quick. Lovely jubbly. Oh yes, look at that. Received player commendation. I guess you're more likely to get one if you're a tank and you do your job. But
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause.
sure, mate, sure.
You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the keeper of the lake. See with eyes unclouded.
So that's the final dungeon.
Do not squander Mother's gift. Hear, feel, think.
Yeah, I think this is Keeper of the Lake is the final dungeon to do out of everywhere that you unlock in A Realm Reborn, and then it has to be Ishgard soon after that. Is that La Habrea? Yes.
And so the vessel withdraws.
Maybe not.
A predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
By the 12, you're alive. I mean, of course you're alive. Well, wouldn't you be? Iceheart did what? And you're certain about that, are you? Dravanians are skilled with glamours after all. Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's just that I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see? No? Fair enough, I was only asking. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. If you ask me, there's naught to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's hope for the rising stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. Before that, you had best pay a visit to Whitebrim Front and speak with Alphino. He's probably worried sick about you. Okay. Did that other party finally get in? Because they were a tank down. Unless there was also loads of tanks, and there magically was a healer that arrived. That'd be very fucking annoying if that was the case. Went too far. Looks like the one party I would have got in for the striking tree is gone. It's a bit annoying, but you know. There he is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for us all when I say that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory. If you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life. An outcome worthy of celebration, and one for which we have Aramir to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Aymeric. We should be content with that we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been routed. Aye, there is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Giamont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport, in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenant's Toll. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from the House for Tom caravan? Less the crystals which comprised the bulk of the shipment, yes, scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, on an unrelated note, Aramir, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? It is not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. Please do not think less of him. Dun 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 dun. Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. They must have got into a party for the striking tree, which is a bit annoying. What were you thinking, Aramir, wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then, engaging the abomination in mortal combat? But the fury, Aramir, 'tis the stuff of ballads. Oh no, ballads, sorry. Yeah. I was going to say ballads, like Wallad, but you know. A battle for the ages, would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. but you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Aymeric wished to have words with you and Master Arthanu in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. Da 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 da.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Natalan.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We, too, have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Aymeric, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgardsormr could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am. Now, why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learnt to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's Toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meagre possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Aymeric. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
And there we go. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends at the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reappraisal of the primal threat and of our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then if it became known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon primals, but her civilized peoples as well. Any lingering objections to the Eorzean campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Aramir. It is better that we continue this conversation in Mordona. So we've got the Keeper of the Lake to worry about. But, you know. It'll be like, what, hour 20? Near enough. So there is the Keeper of the Lake. I believe that will be the last thing that needs to be done. Anyway, 205 and then 75 more and we can finally get the last of what we need to complete the level 130 set.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once. Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoix's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglemog XII was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as, damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded, it would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Well. I mean to scour the annals for knowledge of Midgard-Zoma. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that? The commotion outside. Would you see if aught is amiss? Bom 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 bom. Aramir, 'tis well that you are on hand. We have a problem. Rel has escaped. It happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. The Turngi was found slain along with 2 guards. 'Tis plain she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Rel quitting the city via the Gate of Nold, with a bloodied spear in her hand. She makes for Castrum Meridianum, I am certain of it. Will her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed? What recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilberd and the First are hot upon Rel's heels. Pray make haste to Camp Bluefog and join the hunt. My thanks for coming, Scion. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Raoul walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked right through. You did not mishear. We have Rawborn's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her, and so here we are. Raoul must not be allowed to reach Castra Meridianum. Imagine if this is how you go through the castrum again. Well, no, but the defences will be breached, so it wouldn't make any sense to do so. Oh. Here we are. This wretch was with Raoul. He threw himself at us with his mistress and might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own. The gods damns harpy. With me, Scion, we almost have her. You need to keep them a bloody way, Jesus Christ. so much going on. There we are. Bind her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, men. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Mortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low, you, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want? People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others. You know naught of our plight. The injustice that we low-bornish guardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive, stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the Flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Rawbarn himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth, with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion, yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we had been dealt, and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have we fought for. How are we any different then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth, and 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles, but whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk, you will return to Uldar to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. Not so much as a hint of remorse. Ah, 'tis well that this sordid business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Rawbarn chose his.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Rawbarn. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Captain Ilberd and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of a miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Rawbarn, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Minfilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held royal in high regard. For better or worse, you will want to know how this tale ends. Very sad. Betrayal. The worst feeling you can feel. A feeling of betrayal.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alfino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Robon, Aline lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white auracite, the miraculous material that will allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had 2 pieces of white auracite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
'Twould seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the aura site. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Valdesian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Asian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the dark beings call the one true God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
And there we are.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the Media Project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. one who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Ben Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varys Osgalvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
7 hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Ben Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum. Your crimes will not go unpunished.
Oh.
See how we purge this land of your sickness before the eyes of the 12. I swear it.
It's a Moogle and a Chocobo.
I shall have no further need of you this day, Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped, but as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the immortal flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Ul'dah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the immortal flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Rauban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists, Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people.
Interesting.
Rauban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
Way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll do this last one and then boom. I am most eager to address the Asian threat. However, we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that Saint Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Some days, I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you forget, antecedent, the Scions need not shoulder the burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? True, we are presented with a multitude of problems, however, we have all the resources we need to address them in turn. Aramir in particular is ever a steadying hand who I trust will continue to support the Braves. To what do we owe the pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Uldar? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Teleji Adeleji and his monetarist ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Rawbarn needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments and issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time travelling back and forth. And so, for the foreseeable future, I think it will be for the best if I were to remain in Uldar, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have matters here well in hand. Moan Breeder's research is proceeding as planned. So she tells me, though I am not familiar with the details. Urianger is poring over his tomes at the Waking Sands, and the others are contributing in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will, remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Aramir, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alphanor and his braves with theirs. It would do much to restore faith in the Immortal Flames if the Warrior of Light has been working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organisations and nations cannot. As ever, I implore you to do so. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend to before my departure, such as receiving Riol's latest report. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish kept secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Uldaran riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favour to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once in the usual fashion. We wanna move on from here. Pleasure as always, Aramir. You'll be escorting the commander to Uldar, I take it. Actually, I had another task in mind for him. If you'd be so kind as to repeat your report for his benefit. Right then. Me and mine have been making inquiries into the source of the weapons that found their ways into refugee hands a ways back. So it happens we caught wind of something promising, a rather large purchase of sharp and pointy things by a black marketer holed up near Highbridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting. Clients that, for whatever reason, would prefer for this transaction to remain secret. Brings to mind that merchant who caught an arrow while talking to Aramir, don't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the downtrodden and disgruntled, which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind, but if you want to be sure, might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? Seeing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the Black Marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Aramir? Then it is settled. Rendezvous with Captain Ilberd at Highbridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you excuse me, I must leave for Uldar. I expect good tidings. Right then, so that marks the end of this episode of my playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV. Within the Final Fantasy Marathon we had a big one here, but we got a lot of shit done. I don't know how many more quests there are before Heaven's Ward starts, but it looks like there could still be quite a lot. But until then, hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you later for Wild Arms 3 and hopefully Darksiders 2.